Good evening. Welcome to our Thursday night continuing education call. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And for those watching the recording, I am really excited for tonight. It is a really nice opportunity to have Melissa here talking to us about hormone health, and I'm here with my notepad ready to learn. You'll know that I love to learn, and this is a topic that was next on my agenda to specialise in. So currently obviously specialising in gut health, and hormone health is next on the list for me. So I'm super excited to welcome Melissa to our call tonight, and want to thank you very much for saying yes to my invitation.
Thank you for asking me, and hello everyone. Yes, so I'm Melissa. Most people call me Mel, and my business is in hormone health. I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and I'm also a doTERRA wellness advocate as well. So I absolutely love the essential oils. So the journey to, this business to hormone health came about, I think started like in 2006 was where my hormone journey started, and that's what led me to being so passionate about educating women about hormone health. I got diagnosed with PCOS, so polycystic ovarian syndrome, in 2006, and basically was having lots of health issues, anxiety, depression, weight gain, insomnia. And, the only thing that the doctors did was put me on the pill, because apparently that was going to fix everything. And I didn't know anything back then, so I just went along with it. And my cycles were really irregular. I had really long cycles that was like, 60 days and then 40 days. And anyway, eventually I just felt like I needed to listen to my body, and I knew this pill wasn't right for me. I was spending lots of money seeing naturopaths and Chinese herbalists and psychologists, because apparently it was all in my head, my doctors was telling me. So I eventually decided to study and put into place everything that I was learning, and started to notice the changes in my body, and then how I was feeling. My cycles started to become regular. I was able to cope better with my anxiety. I was sleeping better. My moods were better. And so that just led me just to think, well, why am I not sharing this with people, with women, and how, we have the power to basically heal ourselves. We can basically take control of our own hormones if we can. So that's why I'm so passionate about educating women, because I've just noticed the changes it's done for myself and my clients, and I just love sharing everything. So that's what I'm going to do with you ladies tonight. I'm going to just share a PowerPoint of a workshop. That's my hormone workshop that I do. It's when I educate women online. This is the information. So it's basically we're just going to go through what our normal menstrual cycle should look and be like. The key hormones that play a part, what they do, what their roles are, what an imbalance may look like and feel like, ways to naturally balance our hormones. I'm going to go through the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, and I'm going to talk about how each phase brings, physical, emotional symptoms with it, and how we can support our body throughout these phases, nutritionally, through exercise, and of course with the essential oils. And then, yes, any questions at the end. So I know you said they can ask questions in the chat. I might maybe wait to the end if that's okay, because once I share the screen, I'm probably not going to be able to see the chats.
Yep. I'll watch the chat, and then you can answer them at the end.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so I'm just going to share the screen now. So hopefully this works. There it is. Okay. I might just drop this down a bit actually, so I can't see. Okay. So that's my motto: balance your hormones, balance your life, because that's what I feel is very important. Once our hormones are balanced, you know, we feel great, as in energy and everything. So what do our hormones do? So there you go. Our hormones control, you know, everything from our sleep to our hunger to growth, mood, reproduction. You know, it's how we, you know, affects what we eat, you know, how much sleep we get, and our stress levels play a big part in our hormones. So it's amazing what our hormones do. And, you know, we don't realize, we just think it's just, you know, the female hormones got to do with just our periods, but they basically do everything, help with our digestion, our immunity, like I said, mood, sleep, weight, everything. Yeah. So once something is out of balance, we can really notice it. So what is, I just need to, actually, that little thing is in the way. Hang on a second. A little box of the, just need to move it out of the way. The pictures, the photo, everyone's face. Okay, so what is a normal menstrual cycle? So the average length of a normal menstrual cycle is 28 days, but anywhere from 25 to 33 days is considered to be in the normal range. So the first day of your menstrual cycle is day 1. So it's the first day that you bleed. So meaning that the last day of the menstrual cycle was the last day before your period starts. Now, I was just thinking just now, probably should have asked where everyone is in regards to cycling. So like, are you menstruating still? Are you not menstruating? Maybe if you want to quickly put that in the chat now, so then I know, so I can alter the, you know what, because I don't want to be just talking about, you know, and some people like, I don't even have a menstrual cycle.
Yeah, that would be great, because I do have some
I should have mentioned, I just realized as I was saying this, I probably should have mentioned that right at the beginning, just so that I know, and then I can just I can change that. So I should be able to
got nothing at all anymore.
Oh yeah,
menopause
5 years. Yeah,
not menstruating.
Okay.
I obviously am.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. Yes, I am. Thank you. Okay, just so it gives me an idea. So this is just a rough guide. Everybody is different. I have a Marina, so not bleed. So I have no idea if I still have. Okay. I think that might have been everyone that's commented. Erin, is that pretty much everyone that's commented?
Still a few others, but it'd be a bit mixed. Yeah, I'd say there's a bit of a mix here.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. And then for the recording, so it'll be the same. So I have a lot of younger people, and then there's more wise ladies in our group as well.
Okay. So the women that are menstruating, this is a rough guide. This is like a typical period, but we're all different, and everybody's different. So, but in a nutshell, basically, a normal period should start with fresh red blood. It should be heavy for a couple of days, and then it should basically taper off to basically nothing. So, you know, 3 to 5 days, everyone is different. No spotting. So throughout the cycle, no spotting, no brown blood or heavy clotting. So like I said, ranging between 3 to 5 days, and you should get about 30 to 40 mils of blood loss on average. So it really all depends on what you're using. If you're using tampons, pads, or a menstrual cup, you know, averaging, they're saying, you know, if you change, well, not the cup, but as in tampons and pads, if you change it have to change every 3 to 4 hours, that's quite normal. If you are changing every hour, then you're losing a bit too much blood. And then a menstrual cup pretty much will hold that amount. And your period should ideally be symptom and pain-free. So when we come to the next, I think it's not the next part. Oh, it's not going. Not going to the next page. Oh, there you go. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so here are our key, lots of hormones play a part in our menstrual cycle, but I'm just going to touch on the key ones. Okay, so estrogen. So estrogen is the female sex hormone that is produced primarily in the ovaries and also in some fat tissues. So it helps to prepare the ovarian follicle to release that egg. So that helps to prepare that lining for pregnancy. It is most prominent in the first part of the phase, the follicular phase. So that's where I'll go into a bit more detail later on. But in that first part of your cycle, which is called the follicular phase, that's when your estrogen it's prominent, and it peaks just before ovulation, just to release that egg, and then it drops right off once you get into that next phase, which is the luteal phase. So that we know estrogen is responsible for developing our breasts, the fat around the hips and the stomachs, the growth of our pubic hair, and it's very, very important in pregnancy. So there's like basically some roles and the roles in the menstrual cycle. It thickens the lining, it causes our cervical fluid, and it triggers ovulation to happen. So it is very, very important, the estrogen in that first part. Now, progesterone is another very important hormone, and this is mainly, we need this one mainly in the second part of our cycle, and that's produced once we've ovulated. So if we don't ovulate, then we don't produce our progesterone. So like I said, it's the most prominent in that luteal phase, so that second part of the phase, once you have ovulated. And if fertilization doesn't occur, then your progesterone levels will drop, and that's what brings on the menstrual cycle. So we need progesterone and estrogen it's like a balancing act, and if one is out of balance, then that's what causes the imbalance in your hormone. So we need to have the right amount of estrogen and the right amount of progesterone for our cycle and for our hormones to be balanced. So this is where a lot of women do have low progesterone, and this is where a lot of the imbalances come from. Not having enough progesterone is very common for women not to have enough progesterone. So progesterone is the hormone that we all want and we all need. It is the powerful anti-anxiety hormone. It's the antidepressant. It's the diuretic. So it really helps to eliminate that excess fluid that we sometimes carry leading up to our periods. So like I said, it's crucial in that second part of the phase, and if we don't produce enough in that once we've ovulated, then we're going to be suffering those symptoms that sometimes women suffer with, like the PMS symptoms and that. I just went blank on what I was going to say this then. Anyway. I just had like a blank thing. I was going to say something, then I can't remember what I was going to say actually, but that's okay. If it comes to me, I'll say it. So yeah, so this is where a lot of the imbalances and a lot of the symptoms that women suffer with is often due to not having enough progesterone. Most of the time, if we don't have enough progesterone, then we're going to have too much estrogen, and that's what's going to cause a lot of the symptoms. And testosterone, we need testosterone. Testosterone, when you think of testosterone, you think of the male for men. Now, it is a male hormone, but as women, we need it as well, but in small amounts. And it is produced by the ovaries and the adrenals, the adrenal glands, and it surges at ovulation. And that's what helps to maintain our muscle mass and our bone strength as well. Okay, so how do you know if you have a hormonal imbalance? So for cycling women, so you women that are menstruating, any symptoms are not normal. So even though these symptoms are common, very, very common, it doesn't mean that they're actually normal. It's actually saying that there could possibly be an imbalance somewhere. And most of the time, like I said, it's often due to the estrogen, and the progesterone plays a big part in it. So yeah, so painful periods, blood sugar imbalances, heavy periods, you can see there, it's like the list goes on and on and on. And you can just go, yes, 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 to lots of them. And lots of women are like that. They can go, yeah, pretty much most of them. And when I was going through, PCOS, it was pretty much 3/4 of these I could actually tick. Okay, so what causes an imbalance? So there are some reasons there. So we've got diet, stress, toxins, lifestyle, and genetics. So diet plays a huge role, with what we eat. And we need to be eating the right foods that are going to help for our hormones. We don't want to be eating foods that are going to cause inflammation, because that's going to put the whole system, the whole body out. It's just going to put that negative impact on our hormones. Stress is a very big, basically the number one cause in hormonal imbalances. The reproductive system is seen not to be essential to sustain life if it is stressed. So it will, when we're stressed, it's going to shut down our reproductive system. So we're not going to ovulate, which is then going to cause us not to have our periods. So when we're stressed, our body goes into that fight or flight, thinking it needs to survive. And so then we create that hormone cortisol, which then is going to block our progesterone. So it's going to stop straight away with the progesterone. And we know we need progesterone. So that's the reason why once we're stressed, it blocks that progesterone, and then our progesterone will come down and the estrogen will go up. So stress is a very big one. Toxins. So the toxins in the environment wreak all havoc on our health, and especially our hormone health. So it's the toxins, in the air, that we breathe, which we've got no control over that. What we drink, our cleaning products, our skincare products, they all mimic the hormone estrogen. So they're called endocrine disruptors. So they're going to mimic that hormone estrogen, and we're going to be putting them on our bodies, into our bodies, and we're putting more estrogen in our body. And we don't want more estrogen, because more estrogen means that balancing act and less progesterone, which is going to cause a lot of the symptoms which we looked at previously. Lifestyle. So, how much if we drink alcohol, if we smoke, how much exercise we do we get enough sun, get enough vitamin D, our mindset, like, are we really negative, positive? That all plays a part in it. And of course, and genetics play a part as well. Like, it's sometimes if it runs in the family, then, unfortunately, sometimes, that's as well. So there are other reasons there as well. So sometimes, if we're deficient in something, that's going to cause, like if we're deficient in vitamin D, or if we're iron deficient, it's going to cause an imbalance there, a problem there. Poor gut health. We know that, everything starts in the gut, and we need to have a really good gut health. Like Erin was saying, that she loves, that's what she specializes in, gut health. We know that's where it starts. We really need to look after our gut. Existing health conditions and excess exercise or training can really have an impact on our hormones. And I know personally, and everybody's different, but I know personally that when I exercise, you know, at a high level or over exercise, I don't get my period that month. So everybody is different. Some people can do those high intensity exercises and not affect their hormones. But like I said, stress plays a big part. So when we over exercise or we do an intensive exercise, sometimes that is putting our body under stress too. So in my case, I know that doesn't suit me, and everybody is different. So you just need to listen to your own body and see what works and how you feel. That's the most important thing. And this is, like I said, it's a guide and everybody's different, but you just need to tune in and listen to yourself. And if it sits right with you and you feel great, then that's good for you, because everybody is different. Okay, so how can I balance my hormones naturally? So there are a few things there. So number one, reduce or eliminate sugar, other food sensitivities like gluten and dairy. Now, the reason for this is that they cause inflammation, and inflammation can contribute to a hormonal imbalance. You know, like it can create that hormone cortisol, which is that stress hormone, which we don't really want. Okay, number two, like I said, balanced stress levels. So we need to try and incorporate some form of meditation or mindfulness or breath work daily to really try to calm the body down, to reduce that stress, which is going to have that negative impact on that cortisol hormone, which is then going to help with balancing out our hormones. So we know that breath work is just, it's so calming on the body. Any form of meditation or mindfulness, it's just going to help promote healthy mood, good immunity, and then restful sleep, which goes on to the next point, which is aim for 8 hours sleep every night. Now, good to put into place good sleep practice, because when we sleep, that's when we're doing all our rest and we're repairing, and that's when our body is doing its work. So I'm really strict with I'm like a sleep Nazi, really, really strict with what time I get to bed, and I make sure that I'm in bed by a certain time, and my devices, I'm not on any of my devices. I do some breath work. I try and do a little bit of, even if it's 5 minutes of, meditation. I put some nice relaxing music on. And I love, of course, having my diffuser on and applying my essential oils. That's part of it. So I think by creating a beautiful sleep routine to lead you into that, like an hour before, lead you into it, you just helps you go into that nice deep sleep. And we know the essential oils are amazing for that, and they help us have that deep sleep. And I know, a lot of people go 8 hours sleep, but I have children and I wake up so much, which, that's, of course, when you have children, you're going to get disrupted. Your sleep's going to get disrupted. But I think putting into place really good sleep hygiene will really help with that sleep. A really good thing, a really good yoga, restorative yoga pose I do sometimes before bed, if I've got a lot going on and I really need to wind down and I'm finding it hard to get to sleep, is I put my legs up the wall. So it's called legs up the wall, and it's such a beautiful restorative pose, and you just lay there with your legs up at right angles, and it's just so calming. And you can sit there from 5 to, I sometimes lay there for like 20 minutes to half an hour, and then just roll over, and I just have a beautiful sleep. So I think this is fine what works for you, but we know that when we sleep well, we feel amazing and fantastic the next day. So number 4 is avoid hormone disruptors. Like I said before, those toxins will really impact our hormones. And we're lucky, with essential oils, we can use the essential oils with cleaning. But yeah, really try to, don't use plastic and use glass. and really be careful with what we're using on our body, skincare, hair, body, everything. Really try to, organic if possible, or even just without all those nasties. Take a good quality supplement, magnesium supplement. If there's one supplement I suggest everyone to take, and that I recommend all my clients to take, is magnesium. It is a must. It needs to be a good quality magnesium. So magnesium glycerite or citrate is the best form of magnesium to take. Your body absorbs that better. If it's not a good quality magnesium, it's possibly going to give you loose bowels, and that's how you know if it's not a good quality one. You can take so much magnesium. It's not something you can overdose. But if it's not a good quality one, it will give you loose bowels. And we know magnesium helps, relax our muscles. It soothes and calms the nervous system, and it helps to regulate our cortisol, and it aids in sleep. It's just great for thyroid health, hormone health, everything. I take magnesium morning and night. And if leading up to my period, sometimes I'll take it 3 times a day. If I'm going through a really busy, stressful time, I'll just take it more. That's what I just can't live without my magnesium. Good quality fats. Hormones are made of our amino acids from protein and fatty acids, so from the fats. So our hormones need fats. So good quality fats, avocados, olive oil, coconut oil, nuts and seeds. They just provide that necessary building blocks for our hormone production, and really also help to reduce inflammation as well. And we know essential oils. So essential oils are great to help with our hormone balance. And there are certain essential oils, which I'm going to talk about next, that we can use throughout our cycle to support us, emotionally and physically. So, yes, we all know essential oils is very important to help us support us. So we will put that in. Okay, let me move that over. Okay, so here's our menstrual cycle. So the ladies that are menstruating, this is great for you. The ladies that are not menstruating for whatever reason, menopause or merino, you can still go with what I'm going to discuss now with each phase of the cycle. You just sync it with the moon. So ideally, as women, when we menstruate, we should menstruate on the new moon. And then when we ovulate on the full moon. Ideally, as women, that's what we should be doing. And that would be amazing, but not everyone. If you sync with the moon, that's fantastic. If not, that's fine. Here's just a couple of chats. Do you have a recommendation for a good magnesium supplement? Yes. So I go between Metagenics, which is a practitioner brand. So if you are working with a practitioner, sometimes chiropractors or physios sell that brand. Metagenics is a good brand. If you're unable to get Metagenics through a practitioner, Bioceuticals, they've got a really good magnesium. And the other one that I'm currently, so they're both powders, Metagenics and Bioceuticals are powder, which is so good for you. You absorb it better. I'm currently going between both. I have powder in the morning, and then I have capsules. I have tablets in the evening, and those ones are, I've just gone blank on what those ones are. I can't remember. They're a Chinese herbal one. But as long as the ingredients are magnesium glycerite or magnesium citrate, you'll be fine. I should have probably got that magnesium because I can't remember what it's called now. Okay, so This is our phases. So phase 1 is menstruation, phase 2 is the follicular, phase 3 is ovulation, and phase 4 is luteal. So as we go through these phases, each phase brings, like our brain, our hormones, our body completely different. They impact how we feel, we think, we process information. At every phase, we have different energy, levels of energy, athletic abilities, social needs, nutritional needs. When you start to understand these phases you are in, and you can really use them to your advantage. So I'll go through them now. So yeah, so if you're not menstruating, you just go with the moon. So basically menstruation would be the new moon, and then you'd go all the way through, and ovulation would be the full moon. Okay. Next. Okay. So phase 1 is our menstrual phase. So this menstrual phase is for rest and renewal. So this lasts between 3 to 7 days. And it's day 1 is the first day of bleeding. And this, you could think of this as your winter. So each phase is like a season. So the menstrual phase is like our winter. So this is where your hormones drop to the lowest and your uterine lining breaks down, causing the period. Your energy may be lower. And sometimes you just want to turn inwards and just rest. Like in winter, you just want to like cozy up and you just don't really want to do anything. The menstrual phase is like that. It's for rest and restore. And if you give yourself that time during this phase to really rest and restore, then you cope really well and you're vibrant in the next 3 phases. Because as you see, as we go into the next couple of phases is when you have more energy. I like to just take a day off when I have my period. I like just to have a day off and just watch movies and just give my body that rest. So if you can, if you're able to do that, it makes a huge difference when you take that time out for yourself just to rest, then pushing through and working. But everyone's different, and sometimes we can't take time off, and I totally understand. But yeah. Ooh. Okay, so what to eat? So during this phase, we should focus on warm, nourishing foods, foods that are easy to digest. Cruciferous vegetables are really going to help to metabolize the estrogen efficiently through the liver. We're going to eat like grass-fed meats, eggs, seafood, lots of green veggies, spinach, and legumes to really help to replenish that iron that we've lost from menstruating. We're going to support our hormones with pumpkin and flax seeds. Seed cycles. So when I'm talking about the seeds here, like support your hormones, that's in regards to seed cycling. So during this phase, we're going to incorporate pumpkin and flax seeds. It's really going to help with that estrogen part of the hormone of our cycle. There's the fruits are really going to help to eliminate that excess water that we may be carrying. And we're going to try to put some anti-inflammatory foods in, like the ginger and the turmeric root, which is really going to help with period symptoms, especially pain if you're suffering with that. When it comes in regards to training, really gentle, soothing, restorative activities like yoga, Pilates, walking and stretching. So that's what we really need to do to honor ourselves during this phase. And in like Chinese medicine, like warming food is great for our periods and great for fertility. So that's great to incorporate that in. And here's our essential oils. So clary calm and clary sage, they are great for the first days of menstruation, like applied to the lower abdomen. That's going to really help to soothe cramps, going to help balance out our moods. It's just Claricum is one of my absolute favorite oils to use. And it was one of my first oils that I started with when I started with doTERRA 6 years ago. And I absolutely just loved it. And I used it twice a day because at that stage, I didn't have a regular cycle. So I was using it twice a day, and I believe it did help support in helping to regulate the cycle again because of the Vitex that's in it. And I lavender peace because just to help with our nervous system support, and peppermint and wild orange for our energy. Because we know during this phase, our energy is at its lowest. So sometimes we need a bit of a boost. So good old peppermint and wild orange is great for that one, for a quick energy boost. Okay, so our next stage is our follicular phase. So the follicular phase follows the menstrual phase, and it's the phase of creation and exploration. So this phase begins the first day of your menstrual cycle, and it lasts until ovulation. So it goes in between that menstrual phase, and it's approximately 7 to 10 days. So from day 1 all the way through to ovulation. So but roughly 10 days. Everybody's different. And your follicular phase is like your body's spring. So this is where you start to feel fresh and renewed, and your energy begins to like rebuild itself. So with our hormones are still low at the beginning of this, but then they gradually increase as ovulation draws near. And the follicular stimulating hormone increases, which that's what's going to help the follicles in the ovary to mature. And then as we go into ovulation, that's what's going to release that egg. Creativity is at its highest, and is increased energy, brain function, and mood. So this is great. This is a time where you really feel like getting out, and you get lots of work done. This phase, follicular phase and ovulation phase, are one of my two favorite phases, because I find that I have such great mental clarity, brain function, my mood, energy, and I can just, if I've got lots of work I need to do, this is the perfect time to do it during these phases. So what to eat, protein, fats, the vitamin B12s, we know protein and vegetables just to keep our estrogen levels in check. Wild caught fish if possible. Soups from, homemade stock and like bone broth, that's really going to help with the egg quality and the blood flow. Eat foods that are high in vitamin E, sweet potato, leafy greens. That's what's really going to nourish the growing follicles. And again, we're going to support our hormones with pumpkin and flax seeds. Increase healthy fats, and then eat a lot more vitamin C. So our hormone progesterone needs vitamin C. So it's really good to eat lots of, skipped a bit there. Vitamin C fruit is really going to help with progesterone as we go into the next phases. The supplement Camu is the highest form of vitamin C. So that's great to incorporate into daily. That's going to be fantastic for our progesterone because, like I said, progesterone needs vitamin C. Okay, so training wise, as our testosterone and our estrogen start to rise, you're able to handle more strenuous X and workouts. So you can now start to focus on like active cardio-based workouts and full body weights because you'll start to feel like you can handle it. So you'll start to feel stronger and you've got that capacity to push yourself more, where in the menstrual phase, you don't have that energy to be able to do that. The oils I suggest in this phase, in our follicular phase, is Motivate, just to help with that energy boost, because we are, like our brain function and we're a lot more busier during this stage because we're wanting to do more work because we've got that mental clarity and brain function. And so Motivate helps with us to do that. And then the Basil, which is going to promote that clarity and maintain that open open mind. And we know basil's also just fantastic for our adrenals and supporting our adrenals as well. And if we do suffer with that mental fatigue, basil is going to help with that. Wild orange, bergamot and lavender, just to really help soothe the nervous system and promote the feelings of calm and relaxation if you need to wind down at the end of the day if you've been quite busy. Our next phase, phase 3, is our ovulatory phase. So this is ovulation. So ovulation refers to 24 hours after the egg is released from its follicle and it makes its way down the fallopian tube. Ovulation is typically referred to just 2 to 3 days before you ovulate and then 24 hours after. And this is the phase of communication and action, and it is considered as your body's summer. So this is where estrogen continues to rise and the uterine lining begins to thicken. So we've got increased alertness, enhanced learning, charming, we're full of energy. This is the ideal time to do networking and public speaking. This is where you are you're very sociable. You want to be very sociable at this time, and you love connecting with people, and you are your most fertile here. So often they say this is where, because you are the most fertile here, you look more attractive and your skin is glowing during ovulatory phase. And once you start to realize the different phases, you start to notice how you're feeling, and then you start to notice, oh, I am a bit more sociable. Oh, my skin is looking a lot nicer at this phase. So once you start to really become aware of these different phases, you use it to your advantage, because you know, okay, I'm in this part of my phase. This is when my brain functions at its thing. I'm going to do all my work. I'm going to plan. I try to plan a lot of my public speaking and a lot of my classes and workshops during the follicular and ovulatory phase, because that's when I'm able to get out a lot of my information. Sometimes I've done, like in one time I did a presentation for doTERRA, and I did it on the day of my period, day 1 of my period, and nothing was coming out. Like I just could not get anything out. And yeah, everyone said it was fine, but I just knew that I just wasn't coming across well. So, ideally, if you can plan things, but that doesn't always work out like that. Okay, so what to eat in this phase? This is where we really need to load up on our cruciferous vegetables, like our cauliflower and our broccoli and our Brussels sprouts, bok choy. They're really going to help flush out those toxins, including the excess estrogen that we may be circulating in our body, through the liver. Like the liver is what's going to detoxify the estrogen, through our bowel. So this is where we need to really eat a lot of these vegetables. Is going to help with that. Magnesium-rich foods. Spinach, dark chocolate, raw cacao powder is so high in magnesium. Most of the time when we crave chocolate, it means our body is craving for magnesium. That's the reason why we crave for the chocolate. So good quality dark chocolate, raw cacao, if you can make your own chocolate, is really going to help give you that magnesium. It's going to help balance that estrogen and progesterone. In regards to seeds, we're supporting our hormones with sunflower and sesame seeds during this phase. So now now that we've ovulated, we're into the progesterone part, and those seeds are really going to help support your progesterone. Foods that are rich in B6 are going to help to release that egg, grass-fed meats, wild fish, spinach, eggs, and then, like I said, support the liver detoxification. So dark leafy greens, fresh herbs, green tea, turmeric, chittering root, beetroot, and dandelion root tea. I drink a beautiful dandelion and chittering root tea, which is great for liver support. In regards to training, once again, high intensity workouts, weight training and running. We've just got that energy. So anything that's going to, anything high intensive, you've got that capacity to do during during this phase. And then the oils, you know, the passion blend, so it's really going to support inspiration, and then balance if we need to ground a bit and stay a bit centered, you know, with so much going on during this phase. And then, you know, zendocrine, which is going to help with that liver support. So, you know, dropping water or even diluted over the liver is really going to help support our liver in detoxifying that excess estrogen during this phase. And our last phase is our luteal phase. So this is the fourth and final phase. It's the phase that lasts from ovulation all the way to the next period. So generally 12 to 16 days. This is all depending on the length of your cycle. Everyone's different, so those days are going to be different for everyone. And this is like this phase is like the body's autumn. So estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are at their highest at the beginning of this phase, and then as it starts to go down, they're going to drop. And this is where your energy will start to decline, because those hormones are starting to drop just before you get your period. So this is where so many women suffer those premenstrual symptoms in this part of this phase. So the moodiness, the insomnia, the bloating, headaches, this is when a lot of women suffer that. And often, like I said before, it is that if we don't have enough progesterone, we're going to be this is where we're going to be seeing those premenstrual symptoms just like the week or two before our period arrives. What to eat. So we need to really boost the progesterone, like I said. So, you know, oysters, seafood, dark leafy greens, you know, nuts, coconut, sweet potato, bone broth, essential fatty acids are really going to be helpful to support and balance out the hormones and to really help manage those premenstrual symptoms. The seeds, again, sunflower, sesame seeds and chia seeds. Magnesium is crucial at this time. So definitely increase your magnesium at this time. You know, raw cacao, bananas, avocados, like I've got there. Eat pineapple, because this fruit's got the proline, which helps to thicken the uterine lining, and they say it helps with pain as well. So training wise, strength training, you know, in the first half where your energy is still high, you'll be able to tolerate that. And then just, you know, coming down to before your period arrives, you know, step it back a bit and maybe, you know, go to yoga, Pilates and walk, something gentle, but just listen to your body. Everybody's different. Some people can go all the way through. And then our oils for this part would be, of course, Clary Calm, you know, just to help support us with the PMS. You know, bergamot, you know, so beautiful, diffused for emotional support with frankincense. Peppermint, you know, if we need that energy boost, we can go to our peppermint. And then, of course, cedarwood and lavender piece for sleep support. That's just my suggestion. Everyone's got different ones. Like I also love vetiver for sleep and Roman chamomile, but that's just a general one that we know. And I think that might be it. Yep, that's it. So that's me. They're all my details. If anyone would like to, you know, follow me, that's my Facebook and Instagram, email and website. If anyone would like to get in touch. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now and go back. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So I started taking a magnesium powder, a Chiro Strength one, back many years ago, and I did that for muscular cramping, but I didn't truly understand the importance of it for hormone health. So it's something that I'm going to start back on again, which I think would be really important. I have iron deficiency, and so during my cycle, obviously that just depletes. So
Yes,
yeah, using essential
definitely.
oils has been a massive contributor to a more comfortable and less intense bleed, and so it has been very supportive for me. So yeah, good to understand that.
I definitely think essential oils definitely played a massive role in my healing, as well as everything else that I discussed as well. So
Yeah.
I'll
So
just look at the chat.
can you see that? Yep. So Ros said, thank you very much. Wish I knew this years ago. Yeah, absolutely. Wish we had oils earlier too, right?
Yeah.
And any tips if you're trying to get pregnant?
Yeah. So in regards to, I need to put that down actually. So definitely, really look at eliminating or reducing stress will definitely be one of them. Because like I said, when you're stressed, it's going to shut down the reproductive system, and it doesn't want to make a baby. It says, well, you're stressed, so that's one thing we're going to stop, our reproductive system. It's not a time to make a baby now. So really try to reduce, if you can, stress, try to incorporate some form of meditation, mindfulness, even breath work daily. Reduce I'm not sure if you're doing this already, but reduce or even eliminate any form of toxins in your personal care products, skin care, body care, your cleaning products, everything. That's going to play a big role in your infertility. It's a bit hard to say when I don't actually know the full. Sorry, I should have checked the name. Oh, oops, wrong screen, wrong one. Oh, sorry, I just pressed the wrong thing. So that was Phoebe. Okay. Sorry, Phoebe, I should have just checked the name before I started talking. Really we really want to help support egg quality. That's a main one in a lot of women that are trying to fall pregnant. A lot of clients that have worked with me to fall pregnant, when they've gone through the IVF, they've said that their egg quality isn't good. So really work on egg quality. And there's a Q, I think it's Q, I've just gone blank, what is Q something? CQ, Erin, do you know QC? I've just gone blank on what it's, Q10, CQ10, yes.
CoQ10.
CoQ10, yeah.
Coenzyme Q10, so and quercetin, all of those sort of things.
Yeah.
I would also be using the Lifelong Vitality Pack because of the essential fatty acids in there.
Yeah, definitely.
This is just from a gut health and
yes,
nutrition point of view, increasing your fatty acids to allow that absorption of the vitamins and minerals of the food that you're eating, and
definitely.
all of those things. Gut
definitely
health.
Magnesium, probiotics, look into seed cycling, because that's really good to help as well, to balance out their hormones. It's a bit hard as well, Phoebe, like I'm not sure, in the reason, like with your hormone levels, like, if you've had them all tested to see what is happening with the estrogen and the progesterone ratio, you may need to really help to promote that progesterone hormone. Maybe that's a reason with pregnancy. I'm not sure if you've been trying for a while or not. So that's something to probably look at. Really try to look at, maybe get your hormones tested to see what the ratio in how your estrogen and your progesterone is doing. And if your progesterone is on the lower end, maybe Vitex is really going to help to lift that. So Vitex is in Calm, but you can take a Vitex supplement to help that. I haven't had them tested. How do I do this? So for the questions, I'm trying. Hang on, I am trying. Lost a baby last year too. Okay, I'm really sorry. Sorry to hear that you lost a baby. That's really devastating. You need to get, if you have a regular cycle of 28 days, then it's best to get your hormones tested on day 21 of your cycle. And that is going to show what the estrogen and what the progesterone is doing in your cycle. In your hormones, it's going to tell you if your progesterone is low, and then you can work on that. So that might be where to start, Phoebe. Go and I'll go and get a whole pile of bloods done. I'll go and see what your thyroid is doing. I'll go and see what your hormone levels are doing, because thyroid plays a big part in fertility as well. So I'll get a full thyroid panel, full hormone panel tested on day 21. I'll get all your, your vitamin D, your insulin. I'll get all those just checked to see, because if you're low in vitamin D, then that's going to play a part in thyroid health, in your hormone health as well. So yeah, do that first, and that's going to give you a good picture of what's going on, and then you can look at what you need to do next. Were there any other?
So when you talk about seed cycling, Mel,
yes.
How would you do that? So with the, say, flax seeds and the
pumpkin seeds,
pepitas, would you have them daily during that phase, and like a handful?
Yep. So you'd have 1 tablespoon of each seed daily. So freshly grounded is, if possible. So if you're having a smoothie, then you just put a tablespoon of each into your smoothie and then it whizzes up. Other than that, if you're not having a smoothie, then just freshly grind them and add them into, yogurts or, mueslis, or, in winter when it was cold, I was putting them in my porridge. But I have smoothies, so they're easy. It just goes into that. If you have yogurt, add it into yogurt. So really try to incorporate them daily, because they've got such good essential fatty acids in them. It's just really going to help, especially, I think it's the pumpkin one, like zinc. It's going to help with your zinc and everything.
Yeah. So needing to activate them, or
you
soak
can
them, sprout them.
If you can. If you can buy activated ones, that's even better. You can soak them, because if it's definitely, like we know, it's definitely better on our digestive system if we have activated nuts and seeds. So yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's got to be what's going to be easier for you. And if it's too hard to soak them, then at least you're still having the seeds. So but in a smoothie, like when I make my smoothie, I do it the night before, so they basically be sitting there overnight soaking. And I buy organic activated ones as well, so that makes it easier. But you have to do what's best for you and what's easier. I think as long as you're having the seeds, I'm just reading the chat. You're welcome, Phoebe. Hopefully that helps. Ross, do you have? Yes. Yeah. So freshly ground the seeds is best. But I'm not sure if I've missed any. Just looking back on the questions, I don't want to have missed any.
I think that was everyone's questions.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's everyone's questions. Yeah.
Anything else, guys, while we still have Mel here? Ask her any questions. Thank you very much. I appreciate you jumping on and sharing with us tonight. It's certainly something that I've been having challenges with over the last many years, is my hormone health, and doTERRA has certainly played a big role in supporting me with that, but also understanding what impacts hormones, which is incredibly important. So once we know better, we can do better, which I always say.
Definitely.
And it starts with that understanding, and it's great to have people out in the community like yourself who have this as a passion so that you can continue that education for our future generations, and for us to understand, even if you guys are past this phase, you would have children or grandchildren that will be experiencing this, and having this knowledge is powerful to be able to support those young women and those women to have healthier hormones as they grow.
Definitely. And that's the thing as well, you know, like I often think, oh, if I wish I'd known this years ago when I was going through everything. But that's the reason why I thought educate people now, educate mothers so they can educate, you know, their daughters growing up, so they don't need to go through everything that, you know, we've been through. Sometimes I wish they would just teach this stuff at school.
Yeah.
You know, teach this stuff at high school just for the teenagers, because, you know, we get to that age and we just listen to the doctor, and the doctor goes, put you on the contraceptive pill because that's going to fix everything. And most of the time it makes it worse.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking me and giving me this opportunity. And thank you, ladies, for your time this evening. And yeah, reach out if you would like to know more or have any other questions. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining, and those watching the recording. Really appreciate your time tonight, Mel, and everyone that's joined.